Okay, we are now recording.
What is sadness?
Whoa, wait. I have to introduce.
All right.
Yes. Hello everyone, whoever's watching this. We now officially have a name for this podcast. It's called Across the Pixels podcast. And this will basically be episode 1, because in the first one we didn't even think of a name. It was very unplanned. Even this is like majorly unplanned, but this is something we've been wanting to do for many months. How many months has it been?
Oh, dude. The last podcast we did what? January?
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's like what, 9 months now?
Many months. Yes.
Yeah. And we released it, we've uploaded it on May. And now we're recording the hopefully this one will get uploaded sooner. And a lot has happened since then.
Yeah, life has changed a lot,
Yeah.
and also not really. You know,
Mm-hmm.
most of things in my personal life, I would say, have been pretty similar,
Right.
but there have been life events.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I for one have a better computer now. So
True.
I can record this myself. I can play this game and record this, which is, bless.
True. That was not there last time. Holy shit, dude!
Yeah, you had to record for me.
You built a PC in that time.
Yep. Build a PC and yeah, a lot of things happened as well. Doesn't feel like a long time in general if you just said 9 months or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was a very eventful year compared to, I guess, last 2 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you took me to watch Batman and stuff.
Yeah, almost fucked it up, but
Yeah, and we went on. Okay, so when we recorded the first podcast, we had never met IRL.
we had never met IRL. True.
Yeah, and now we have met like what, 4 times, I think?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, 4 times. That's wild. I even slept with you, basically.
You slept with me, you slept in my room, you slept in my house,
We slept in an Airbnb, like
in an
yeah.
Airbnb. True.
I got to meet your pet.
You did, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Not only meet you, in fact,
became friends basically.
became friends, yeah.
Yep.
Very rare.
Oh, nice scenic nighttime. So yeah, on the topic of what's the general topic we said we'll cover today?
Yeah. So again, we fellow podcastarians
Yes.
trying to, get a unique perspective to the whole scene of podcasts.
Yep.
Not really, but we will talk about sadness.
Sadness
We'll
and
talk about existentialism
yes, and that
without not really going into the whole philosophies of existentialism, because honestly, I don't know many.
uh-huh.
I have a very straightforward philosophy for it, and that we'll discuss obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to raise anyone's expectations of intellectual conversation.
Oh no. This is just conversations where the
Yeah.
people decide if it's intellectual or not. But
Right.
yeah, I think existence. So today we are planning to. Yeah, I mean today we are just messing around in No Man's Sky, and I feel like it's a very fitting game for that, for existentialism. Like even the main plot of the game is very existence-like, and yeah, I have a lot of personal bias towards this game because it just tickles all the right spots basically.
Yeah, I think I've reached that also with this game.
Yeah, let's fly around then. I
Yeah,
guess.
I've always. Where are you?
I'm in my ship.
Right, fly without that. Right.
Yeah, you'll have to go down. But yeah, what were you saying?
I've always been fascinated with space, right? Like you know this.
Yeah.
And when this game came around,
Mm-hmm.
I was not as hugely involved into the whole space and was as fascinated by space as I am now.
Right.
But when this game came around, I was still like, holy shit, this has so much potential.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but then we all know how things went with this game.
Yeah, it had a rough start, but it's come a long way
Yeah,
too, right?
it has come incredibly long way. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, for anyone who is watching this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they should really watch that
The
YouTube
Engoodening
video.
of No Man's Sky by Internet Historian. Yep.
Yep,
Might even link it in the description because it's a great watch.
it's just a great watch, honestly.
A good story of redemption and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's scary how real this feels. Like if you look at the sky
Yeah.
and all those stars, and if you are living in a place that does not have like light pollution,
Yeah.
you see the same thing in your sky.
That's true. Yeah,
Uh,
it's very similar.
Yeah, and that feeling of watching a clear night sky is unlike anything, dude. It just sucks we can't see it as often.
Yeah, well, being city creatures and all that.
Yeah.
So let's I mean, I guess this kind of comes into existential and all that, but
Mm.
do you think there are aliens?
Oh, dude, yeah, 100%.
And like what makes you so confident?
I feel like universe is so massive, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like it is, we have no conceptual idea of how vast it can become.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are so many stars, there are so many, uh, yeah, so many stars, and there are so many planets,
Yep.
so many galaxies, which are so far away. Like our closest galaxy is also so far away,
Mm-hmm.
and to think that any of those galaxies far away does not have intellectual life is sort of narcissistic for humans.
Yeah, like implying that we are the only
We are
species to
the
ever
only
exist.
intellectual to have evolved.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go into the whole debate, but I mean, we are not going to debate obviously
Yeah.
about this, but people can debate about evolution and all of that, right?
Yeah.
Where we came from. But for me, I've accepted the fact that we were all a massive mistake, basically. Not in the sense that, oh, we are fucked as a planet, right? But no, just that Big Bang was caused because of random things coming together.
Yeah, we are all a byproduct of
Yeah,
something grand.
yeah, basically. So to think the same thing has not happened on millions of planets that are so far away that we can't reach is again a little bit narcissistic, but I eventually I do believe there are aliens. It's just they're not like what we think they are, probably.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
And they won't necessarily be sentient, I guess, but they'll at least be other life.
there at least be other life. There'll be
Yeah.
some weird ass microorganism somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. Makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah.
I also think the same, basically.
Hmm.
For same reasons, like if we were a byproduct, they can also be a byproduct.
Yeah.
But would that change anything? Like, do you think, like, just having that, like, let's say someone told you, or we know for a fact that we are the only sentient species in the universe. If you heard that news, how would you feel about it?
I'll be very lonely.
Right.
I like to believe there are other lives somewhere
Mm-hmm.
trying to take form, trying to reach levels where we are, or probably are further away, further ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, I think I would feel lonely, but also like special, if that makes sense, you know? Or because
yeah,
it's like, why only
I
us,
see
or
what you mean. Hmm.
like blessed in a way, but also yeah, very very lonely.
Yeah,
It would be very interesting how much life could change if just humanity would change so much, right? If we just knew for a fact that we are not the only civilization. Like now it's a lot of like maybes, but it can soon be uh, confirmed. Like communication with them will I'll probably be like past our life. I don't think it will happen in our lifetime.
yeah. The
But
whole,
mhm.
yeah, like the whole, what is it called?
Here you can spawn a bike too.
I don't think I have a bike.
No, you can from this. Just stand here and summon it.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, go
The
on.
whole light year system, right?
Uh huh.
I don't think, like, you know how that works, right? Like, if you're looking at a planet right now, it's probably uh, many years older or ahead of us and all of that. I don't really understand the
Oh, right.
exact specifics of it.
So basically, it what it says is that also you have to keep recharging your technology or else you might
Uh,
die. But the way it says, light is the fastest thing, right, in the universe.
hmm,
And so, if these planets where life is many light years away, if we see it, like if we found it out now, like let's say we found a planet that has civilization on it, but it's 300 light years away. What
uh,
that means is that we are seeing a version of that planet that is 300 years ago.
yeah,
So, first of all, we don't even know how they're doing now. And second of all,
yeah,
if we were to communicate with it, it would like a to and fro would take like 600 years basically.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why it's so unlikely that we'll be able to communicate with aliens, but who knows? There can be the whole faster than faster than light kind of technology and all that that's shown in sci-fi movies.
Hmm. I don't know how close we are to that, but
Yeah, I have no clue if that would even ever happen.
happen in our lifetime, right?
Yeah,
And that
or
brings
ever,
me to or ever, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, but yeah, eventually that brings me to few of my anxieties that
Mm-hmm.
come with existentialism is to not know what will happen,
Uncertainty.
uncertainty of stuff.
Yeah, and this is something we've like personally talked about before too, right? Like how
Yeah,
I kind of find peace in that, of
yeah,
the fact that things are uncertain. So that's the very reason I can't be scared about it.
yeah,
But like, interestingly, that's the very reason you're afraid of it too. And I don't
yeah,
think one way of thinking is necessarily better than the other, because I feel like
yeah,
I am very comfortable with many things to necessarily push myself, you know.
uh,
And I know a lot of people that might have that same fear as you, but
hmm,
that's what drives them, or that's one big motivation of them to do something, to get out of bed right now, to travel around and all of that stuff.
yeah. Like literally YOLO.
Yeah, and that I kind of respect. So I don't like, even though it's like I'm not afraid versus you're afraid. It's about what do we do with that,
with that information. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that whole thing about happiness and like productivity, I feel like I struggle with combining them both.
Hmm.
Like when I'm happy and content, but I'm not content obviously, because if I was content then I would not be having these ambitions to like make games and all that. But
Yeah.
when I'm happy, I tend to not be as motivated either, because I'm not as anxious, but I still feel like somewhere it is building up, like it would get worse, and I try to take it seriously. So I wonder sometimes if those fears are like necessary or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you want to talk about why it's so scary?
Again, it basically comes down to the same point, right? It comes down to being so uncertain about what is coming next.
Right.
Uh, like most of my anxiety, like is related to death.
Yeah.
Like my death, no one else's. Like what
Right.
happens if I die? And the easiest answer, like I agree with a lot of people that tell me that it's you would not know. It is basically going back to not being born ever.
Yeah, like if you don't know what it's like not existing,
Yeah,
and even after death, that's what it will be.
that's what it will be. It will be all of my consciousness, all of my thoughts, all of my experiences, all of my everything just gone,
Yeah.
zapped away. Yeah, and that is scary.
Fair.
And yeah, that gives me almost daily, nightly panic attacks.
Yeah, see, that's where it is not necessarily helpful, right? Like you can have the motivation
Yeah,
to know that you only live once, but I don't think daily panic attacks is good, right? Like
no,
objectively.
not.
Yeah.
Like even now, just talking about it is raising so much anxiety. Like I can feel my heart beat go up.
Yeah.
I'm starting to sweat and all of
But
that.
you do want to talk about it too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I am not forcing the masked man to have this conversation.
Hmm.
Don't this.
But that's what panic attacks are, right? Panic attacks at the end of the day are a mental health problem.
Right.
People have different kinds of panic attacks. The major characteristic of a panic attack is that you're always scared when the next one will come.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy of that sort. Like you can
Yeah,
have
but
panic attacks about panic attacks, right?
yeah, that's basically it, right? Like you're always
Yeah.
expecting another one to come.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, and like me, a therapist, I'm always trying to help my patients with their panic attack, and I tell them to do exactly like I know exactly what to do and what to tell
Yeah.
them to do, right? And for most of them, it is helpful. For some, the panic attacks are worse than others.
Right.
So, so I know what to do. I know how to stop it. But again, most of the people's panic attack comes from a problem that they can eventually logically solve. Right?
Like there's something they can get closure with.
Something that they can get closure with. Mine, there is nothing. There is no, unless someone solves death.
Which would be chaotic, very chaotic, right? Like,
Probably, but I'll very selfishly take it.
but here's the thing, right? We have talked about, so you know that like I dwelled into spirituality and all of that, and
Yeah.
they often, very often, cover death and reincarnation, even, or just what a soul is and existence. And I think
Yeah.
there's some very cool um, like things you can explore with that. Not necessarily things you need to believe, but like, yeah, when you say solve death, right? For them, or for a lot of people who are into it, that's what they would say they have done. They've like, they've not solved it as in, like, I know when you say solve death, you don't mean that you don't die. Like, you mean like you understand it, right? But
Oh no, 100% mean I don't die.
oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So
But
you
I see
mean
what you mean
remove
also.
death, right?
Yeah.
Remove the
The
stage
problem
of death. Yeah.
that is that. Yeah.
Is that
Be
the
alive
problem,
forever.
though?
Yeah, for me personally, yeah.
Right. I think death is balance. I think new things coming and old things going away creates a sense of like change. Like,
Yeah,
think
but I'm
about
not
it,
there to
right? Like,
see those
even
changes, though, right? I
yeah, like
want to see
even
those changes.
evolution and all that, right? You die off and get born and then
Yeah.
figure it all out. Wait, where are you?
I'm up in your
Come follow me.
building.
I'll show you a cool place to sit.
Yes.
But yeah, so you're saying if you were like given the chance to be immortal, you'd do it?
I'll do it in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
Damn, that is very interesting, because
Yeah.
my answer would be the opposite.
The opposite, yeah, I know. We've
Yeah.
talked about this.
Yeah, because wait, I just prefer sitting on the floor here. Because I think living forever is suffering. I mean, I think life in a big chunk is already suffering, but not necessarily in a pessimistic way. It means that you will always grow old,
Yeah.
and at some point, knowing you're close to your death and all that is very, very important life experiences to have. Right?
Yeah.
It can make people very humble, but also it can make people very grumpy. That's why there's so many grumpy old people, right? Like, they've not fully come to terms with how the world is, and that's why they're angry. So it's a lot of angry old people out there. But yeah, like, I think when they say that, I saw this some clip of some I don't know if it was a rapper or some musician or whatever. He was saying that we should be humble, because if we don't be humble, then life humbles you, and you don't want life humbling you. Like, that is, by that he means stuff like, stuff that's not at all in your control, like health problems or death of someone and all that shit. And those things slap you really, really hard. Or like, just even COVID, right? No one predicted such a big global epidemic or pandemic, whichever's the right word.
Yeah.
No one expected that. Yeah, it's pandemic. Yeah, but it happened. It humbled a lot of people. So many people lost their jobs. Stock market had a fun time. Like, you could have had the perfect algorithm to make money or something, but this is not a factor they would have put in mind. And my point is that when you aren't immortal, those things like hit you a lot harder, and those things should hit you a lot. I feel like, I mean, there are many movies and all that talk about immortality and all that, and I really don't know what an actual immortal person would be like. But there was this one movie one show, like, it was a very small show, and it was very, very cool. I forgot the name of it. I think it's called Endless or something. It was the actor, who played Fantastic Four, the old one. that actor was the main protagonist. Every time he dies, he comes back. Was his whole thing in that show. So he survived since like the 1600s or something.
Oh, forever? No.
Yeah, forever.
I told you about this show.
Yeah, I've seen this show. It only has
Yeah.
one season, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, they cancelled it. It's such a good show.
It was
though.
very good, right?
Yeah.
And his attitude was very like interesting to it. Wasn't like all evil or all grand or necessarily anything like that.
Yeah.
But he was also pretty wise.
Yeah.
But I feel like you could go. So you know a lot of old people, right?
Yeah.
Again, they have they can have very strong ignorant opinions because it's almost their entire life, right, that they viewed like that. Imagine
Yeah.
that, but you're immortal, you know. Like that sounds a bit scary to me.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Come here.
And this is like ignoring the fact that the world, like if you rest of humans knew you are immortal, then you'd be a test subject and all that.
Yeah.
But
Can we
that
go here?
just goes into sci-fi movie. Can you?
Oh no.
Are you falling?
No, we can't. My life
Well-
support is dying.
Well, have fun. We talked about death. You're gonna be dying soon.
Dude, I can't even come up.
At
Oh
least,
my God.
at least you can respawn in this video game. So
That's fine. I think it's my time. But I hope I'm this peaceful when death actually comes. Which I don't think I will be.
no, because oh, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Probably because this was also like a great view to die on, honestly. Like dying in space, as horrifying as it can sound, I know, with the right, if there's at least something to look at, right? If it's not endless darkness, but if there's like, I don't know, a space station nearby drifting off, then yeah, it would be a very chill way to die. Not chill at all, you'll be like suffering. But it'll be cool though, like especially knowing how little people have died in space. I don't even know if people have died in space. Have they? Must have, right? Like
Must have,
astronauts.
yeah. I know, very horrifying death that some guy, some Russian dude.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure people have died.
Yeah, and it must be like the rarest thing ever.
Yeah.
So, what were we talking about last? Oh yeah, immortality and all that.
Yeah.
It's probably easier to say it because we haven't done it, right? And
Yeah,
there's
we were
no
talking about
examples
how
of it.
dying feels.
Yeah, but like you said, you would take it in a heartbeat. But if you knew stories of it or something,
Yeah, but we don't know, right?
yeah, and even if there was, like, how likely are we to believe it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, people talk about how it will make us go absolutely insane, but we don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it will necessarily make us go insane, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking if there was a species where they were all immortal, and if they were given the concept of that, imagine you were not immortal, imagine you had an end. I think they would have said the same answer. They would have been like, people would go insane. And people do go insane, right? We have many people that go insane, but not necessarily because of death, and just I think anyone can go insane.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances and choices they make and all that.
Have you seen The Good Place?
Yes, what a great show.
Yeah.
It really
They
tackles the
covered
whole
this
afterlife
whole
thing.
thing, yeah, pretty well.
Yeah, like it's comedic, it's wholesome, but it's also very like philosophical.
Yeah, it's very intense.
So, do you want to talk about how much has like changed in your life, or like where do you think you were when we first talked? How much do you even
Hmm.
remember of our first podcast?
I remember how we were talking about making content.
Yeah.
Uh, it was mostly about streaming, right?
Yeah, of being like, we talked about, is it narcissistic to be like maybe content creators and all
Yeah.
that? Yeah. But like, how much do you think you've changed from that time to now? Because you did
Uh,
also, coming back to this, right? You did say that for a while your fear, like you didn't. So you didn't always have this fear either, is what you said, and I'm sure now it's more prevalent than before, right?
yeah. Yeah,
So
I
things
didn't
must have
always
happened.
have this fear, but like I've had this fear for the past 4 years, 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
But it used to come and go, and mostly I would distract myself
Right.
from it. But I think now I've reached a point where I'm not successfully able to do that,
Hmm.
distract myself, because it's either that or no, coming to peace with it, which is a lot of work that I will like to put in.
Yeah, it's worth
But
figuring it out, right?
oh yeah, for sure. But for till then, it is all about what can I do
Yeah.
to distract myself. I think I was doing it pretty well, but I think as of late, recently, probably have gotten out of that habit.
Of like
So
distracting.
yeah, just being distracted.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So I think that's something that changed. Don't really take streaming as seriously.
Yeah.
Uh, do really want to do sketches and stuff though, for sure.
Oh yeah, you talked about that. Yeah. I love
Yeah,
doing sketches too, but again, it's like one of those things where I want to do a lot of stuff, but I also, it's not about the fact that am not taking the first step and all. It's
hmm.
like taking the first step is so much easier. Continuing it is like the hard part,
Yeah,
and managing everything else.
yeah. So that planet has sentinels and shit.
Yeah, I think
Like,
most planets here have it.
yeah, this planet that I'm going to doesn't. No
Okay.
authority. Uh, Speaking of, I feel like a lot of my fear that I used to have about authority has reduced. Like I used to be very scared of like older men.
Right.
I
Why?
like to just I don't know, dude. It has always been something. Like that's a reason that I avoided working at places. Like especially if you're a therapist in India,
Mm-hmm.
you will eventually end up working under the old psychiatrist, and they
Yeah.
are pun intended mental. Yeah, they
Which is
can be
ironic,
very.
right?
Yeah, exactly. It is very ironic, but they can be very, very, very interesting beings. The
Mm-hmm.
psychiatrists can be very unprofessional, can be very, very medicine forward
Oh yeah,
for
the medicine
absolutely no
forward thing.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and also massive, massive egos.
Sad.
Yes, sir, but I am hopeful like the newer generation
Mm-hmm.
of psychiatrists would be better.
Yeah, I mean, I that is also like, do you understand why the older ones are so egoistic, or does it not make sense? What do you say?
No, it's just it's the same thing, right? It's boomers, the whole boomer generation.
Yeah,
And because there are so few psychiatrists in India, there are like a total of
little entitled.
probably 2,000.
Oh damn, that's very low for our population.
Yeah, and registered clinical psychologists is even less.
Yeah,
But psychiatrists again, they get more uh interest because medical field doctors, so everyone just goes to them first, right? So a lot of, and like you said, they are entitled.
yeah.
So yeah, I think all of that uh sort of go gets into their heads
Hmm.
when the whole patriarchy and blah blah blah. I feel like
That is,
somewhere
yeah, for
there.
like everything.
Yeah.
But then why would you like what you said that you're less afraid of that now?
Yeah, I think I'm less afraid of that. Like I feel like recently also, like I have called out a lot of people. I've become a lot more confrontational. Not very, very confrontational, but I've become
Hmm.
more assertive in my stances.
Yeah, I think that's good
Yeah,
to a certain extent, right? Because that
yeah,
because that assertiveness can quickly turn into have wanting to correct everyone or like wanting to be in charge and all that.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think you're at that level.
No, I feel like earlier I used to think a particular way about people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in my thoughts, I used to be very, okay, if I like someone, I like someone. If I don't like someone, I don't like someone. But I wouldn't really tell it out loud.
Like you would have made a
That's,
decision like subconsciously.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I let it out. If I don't like someone, I let others know.
Oh,
Hmm.
interesting. I have lately basically had my mind changed on many people,
Hmm.
good ways and bad ways. Like bad ways, I think I always had some. That's why I'm very skeptical in early stages of friendship quite often.
Yes.
But in good ways, in the sense that at first I was like not a fan of them, but then they kind of grew on me.
Oh.
Not necessarily like toxic friendship way, but just that I understand why they do it. Like I have pet peeves, and if people do those pet peeves, I'm like, that is not a nice way to like get on my good side. But
Hmm.
then I give them that benefit of the doubt that they're not being annoying on purpose, right? It's
Yeah.
just how they are, and I'm learning to coexist with people a little better now.
Yeah.
So that's good. But maybe that also comes from a place of like not being as social as I used to be.
Hmm.
Like before, I'd be around people like all the time, like school, college, and all.
Hmm.
So there was a good amount of people that I wouldn't want to engage with. But now it's like, besides online, it's very limited, and the people we meet online, we meet in real life, and then I don't know, like just naturally, they're not a big deal to me. Like they don't annoy me too much,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Yeah, for a fungal planet, it's very peaceful here. I did
Wait,
get
are you
chased
on
by
my
a
planet?
sentinel. Yeah,
Oh, you're on that planet. Huh?
yeah,
Come this planet next.
yeah. I'll actually do that now.
It's a very orangey planet.
Apparently, I'm in combat now, though. So,
Yeah, that's why I avoid it.
but I'm also
I just
not
like to
in
be in
combat.
combat with my thoughts.
Fair.
Yeah. What do you think
Uh,
has changed for you?
Oof, so much. So much, but also not much. Like, hard to explain.
Hmm.
I would
It
say,
has
like,
been only 9 months, right?
yeah, but okay, so one thing for sure is that, I mean, just in terms of hanging out with people, or
Hmm.
like going on trips, is the first time I went on an Airbnb and lived with my friends for like a few days. Like, that was the
Yeah.
first time I did that in ever this year. And I
Right. Yeah.
also went to a city like without my parents, you know.
Yeah.
I've never gone to like other city or traveled without my parents, so that was new. And I
Yep.
even got my first like bus ride alone across cities.
Yep.
So yeah, like many physical experiences were new in that sense, and I really enjoyed that. I don't know, I keep bringing it up, but that bus that bus ride was so good, dude. Like, not like the not I don't mean literally like the AC was nice, the ride was comfortable. I mean just that experience
Hmm.
of going on your own and just being like traveling on your own, and the long hour drives, and when it turned nighttime it was very relaxing as well.
Yeah.
I liked it so much that I like really want to just catch a bus and go again, but money,
Yeah.
money stops many things.
Yep.
So those are some new things I learned. And then also like romantic adventures and such, but like small ones, but very insightful ones.
Hmm.
Um, like, but I I don't feel like talking much about those experiences because they're more connected with someone else,
Yeah.
or at least maybe given more time, then I might have more to collect and more to say.
Yeah. Probably podcast number 5 or something
Yeah.
in
Were
like
you in a
5 years from now.
relationship when we did our first podcast?
I was very new in that relationship.
Ah,
It's a very new relationship.
yeah. How's all that going?
That's going well, dude. Um,
Nice.
uh, I've always been very skeptical about relationships, even though
Right.
I've been in a few now.
Uh huh.
I've always felt very unsure about a lot of things, but with this, I don't feel unsure about things, which is a big change for me personally.
That's nice.
Yeah. I have like one constant line of thought about this relationship that I want to make it work
Uh huh.
as long as, everyone involved, as long as basically Ria wants it to work.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, at some point, because of reasons doesn't work, it'll be hard, but I think it'll be okay also. Like this is one relationship where it is not super intense.
Dude, that honestly, yeah, that's what you want, right? Like,
That's
cause
what I want at this stage of my life. I don't want things
yeah,
to be intense. I don't want things to be unsure. I don't want any of the drama. I don't want, oh, I may have feelings for someone else, but I also have feelings for this person. I want none of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think because you had those other relationships that were intense, you kind of
Yeah.
now know what you don't want, right?
Yeah.
It's harder to tell that when you're just very new to relationships, but oh, here's a good question.
Hmm.
Um, what? So, I mean, since you're talking about mortality and all that, you know how there are like horoscopes and all that that kind of define your life, or some even are able to, like palm reading and all of that.
Hmm.
What is your stance with? that stuff.
Although I makes no sense to me on a
Right.
personal level. I can't get behind it.
Do you think it's complete bullshit though?
What is palm reading?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't see an explanation of any of it.
Right.
I feel like it's the same with
Horoscope.
horoscope. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's similar to horoscope, right? Like the dude will probably give you a very vague thing that will happen in a few years, or a vague partner that you will get.
Yeah.
Like, so I've known a lot of people who are really into it.
Yeah.
Tarot cards, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
Palm reading. So I've and this have been close friends. These are close people.
Yeah.
So they believe in it. It is fine. I used to be snarky about it, but I obviously, like I said, right earlier, I used to have thoughts about people, but I wouldn't tell it to them. I would make opinions in my head, and I would live with them. Uh, Now I would tell them how I feel, but I'm not snarky about it. Like earlier, if this was the same person 5 years ago, I would like, yo, what is this? What is this? BS
Yeah.
carrots, and what is this? Like you should know better, blah blah. Right? Like now I'm at a stage where do what makes you happy. If that's something that you like, go for it. Hardly
But
matters.
then you'll
But
also say that you
I don't
find it
believe in any of
nonsensical.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you be happy with that, but it's not for me.
Yeah. Fair.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. Like I've known a lot of people who really like it, who are really into it, but uh, I don't understand it. I don't see how you can predict future.
I'm going to say something that would be like the hottest take,
Right.
right? Absolute lava take. But
Hmm.
I think astrology and all of that is just like math,
Hmm.
in the sense that we make a structure just so that things make sense for us.
Hmm.
Except math is more practical.
Yeah.
But astrology is, I think, like a curiosity, or like not necessarily a curiosity, but like what I mean to say is that I love that it's a thing. I love the
Hmm.
concept of it,
Yeah.
or that it exists. I'm not a big fan of it at all. Like I
Huh.
don't. I would not give much value to what horoscopes and astrology says, because yeah, they are a bit vague. I get that humans made it, like it was people that made it to make sense. Um, just like, I don't know, music theory and like what sounds good and art and all
Hmm.
that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's just made to make have some sense of life, or like, maybe even they were afraid of the complete randomness, so they wanted it to not be as random.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's one of the reasons why religion is huge,
Yes.
because people did not know what to make of death.
Yeah, and like they needed hope and all that, so they
Yeah.
made it.
Makes sense. I wish I was religious.
Yeah, I think we talked about that too, right? But
Yeah.
we are well aware that it's not all rainbows and sunshine either.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. But if
Yeah.
you take the right things of a religion, I feel
Oh
like
yeah,
it
for sure.
can be
Like I
the
think my
best.
mom is there basically,
Yeah.
like in the right path of it, where she doesn't discriminate anyone. Um, she has a faith, and that faith keeps her very like
Yeah.
happy. But also she's like at that age where she can just sit and think deeply about it, and not that I can't, but I feel like I have to provide something to society, because I want so much from it too. Like,
Yeah.
I want to travel, I want to eat nice foods,
Yeah.
have a nice car, a house, and all that. So
Yeah.
yeah, because or else I wouldn't, like, I can see myself, like, if everything crashes down, I would just become a monk or something,
Hmm.
which some people may call going crazy, but yeah, they have it
Yeah.
figured out, man. I really want to like visit a monastery sometime, like have conversations with monks.
Well, dude, honestly, same. I've always joked about how if life goes absolutely shit, I would just become a monk.
Yeah,
But
exactly what
it's
I
not
said,
easy,
right?
right?
Yeah. No, not at all easy, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to still adapt as much of it as I can, as well as like so stoicism and all that, right? I think
Hmm.
stoicism is a very good philosophy that you can keep having while working too, while
Hmm.
living in the society as well. So with, I mean, I think even Buddhism and all of that.
Yeah.
But so I think it is Taoism that
Hmm.
talks about going with the flow.
Hmm.
Literally, just keep going, and whatever path comes, it's meant to be there as a challenge, or you will find the rewards as you keep going. That's also very deep. Like, it sounds like very simple, but if you can find happiness in going with the flow, dude, then you'll be a very content person. And I feel like I personally know many, like, people like that
Hmm.
who don't know what Taoism is, but they do live in that dialogue, or just live day by day. Just go
Hmm.
with how things are. They're not ambitious. They're humble. They're happy. Even a
Yeah.
lot of people in the what's the lower economic class, right? I would say live like that. Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say every person who's like has below average income is sad. Obviously not.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of those that aren't sad are like grounded in that sense of just, and
Yeah.
I can see there would be many people who'd be like they should not be happy with it, or the whole hustle culture thing and all that bullshit of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know this is why you're poor because you're doing nothing about it. But nah, if you don't feel you're poor, then genuinely, like, why change that? Like,
Hmm.
have enough money to feed your family, have shelter, clothing. That's
Yeah.
important. But besides that, do it only if you want it. Like, a lot of us, interestingly, have all of that, right? Enough for
Yeah.
food, shelter, clothing. But yeah, that's not enough to make us happy, is it?
Hmm.
And I get why it's not enough to make us happy. Because in the process of all that, we kind of don't find ourselves.
Yeah, and we are evolved creatures now, right? Like we need so much more to have a fulfilling life. And I feel like evolutionary, we've become also very emotional beings. And we,
Evolutionarily.
yeah, like I feel like we've evolved into having, uh, n- having to have our emotional needs fulfilled. And if they're not fulfilled, then we will become sad.
I think that's a generational thing. Like, our generation really prioritizes emotions, which is good. I like that.
Mm.
But it might be prioritizing it a bit too much, or even failing to understand it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, anxiety, I don't think anxiety is an emotion, right? But it's talked about in such a way that it's inevitable by many people,
Mm.
like that it is just part of life. And it doesn't sit right with me, because I mean, it's good that you're aware that you have anxiety, but you can definitely work on it.
But anxiety is a biological feature, though, right? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we get good anxieties, we get bad anxieties, we get normal anxieties, we get fearful anxieties.
I mean, anxiety is always to prevent, to
It's
help, it's survival instinct, right?
it's when you can't control it is when it becomes problematic.
Yeah, or when you don't even know why and you just accept it as, like, you get what I mean? Like, they're just like, oh, this is just how life is. Anxiety hota hi
Right,
hai.
right.
Like,
Yeah, yeah,
they stay in relationships and friendships that give them that,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but they think it's just how it is. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that
It is what it is.
it does suck. Like, the whole yeah, the it is what it is line
Mm.
is so powerful, but
Mm.
can be so wrong as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know about the moral compass thing? You know, true, neutral, chaotic, good, chaotic, evil, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had talked about this sometime, right? But
Yeah.
what do you think you are?
Uh, what were my options again?
There is chaotic evil, chaotic neutral, chaotic good, then true evil, neutral, good, and then lawful evil, neutral, good.
I think I'm something neutral,
Right.
not chaotic, probably not unlawful, probably lawful neutral.
Yeah, I think I'm similar in that sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be neutral to, like, if I'm thinking chaotic neutral, I think it's someone who just doesn't care too much about laws and everything, but
Yeah.
also doesn't have any strong opinions about stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you would want to be a little more chaotic?
Yeah. I think that uh sort of brings me out of my shell a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's what I think humans crave for, right? Like we always want to do something new, try something new,
Mm-hmm.
unless you have, I don't know, like a specific mental health problem, autism or OCD or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
where you don't like to change pattern or OCPD. But you I feel like we like to keep changing, and that's how I feel. Like I want to do something new. I don't want to stick to the same routine that I have.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah. Or like professional, not professional, but just like in life, right? Like I now want to make YouTube sketches, content,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Why is there a random robot behind us?
It's my friend.
Oh my god.
Is he gonna walk off?
Yeah, he's dead.
No. I just
Uh,
want to feel like there is life around us, you know?
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm lonely and I need a friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of get what you mean. I don't know, today I was feeling very tired. I started this day very rough because I
Mm.
slept very late and I did not want to do anything basically. But I still ended up doing quite a few things, including
Mm.
this. So that's nice.
Yeah.
But somewhere I just was like, kind of like mad at myself, you know?
Mm.
I was mad at myself because on one hand I want to be productive, make money and all that.
But
Uh, but on the other hand, I'm not doing enough. Like, I'm
mm.
not prioritizing it enough. So, like, what the fuck? You know,
Mm.
if you care that much, then do it, or don't care about it. But being in the middle is just very, like, annoying. Like I get annoyed when there are people out there who complain about things but then do nothing about it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
Yeah.
nothing about it. I'm doing something, but I'm not doing enough. Is what I feel like.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
that's my pet. Or is it your pet?
It's not bad.
All right.
It's eating his iron batteries like a normal pet.
That's my pet.
I see.
But do you think it is okay to be mad at yourself?
Uh, yeah, as long as you also are able to forgive yourself
Mm.
or get motivated enough to change what you're mad about.
Yeah, like I think a good way to go about is treat yourself the
Hmm.
way you would treat a friend.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would be pretty mad at my friend if he was doing what I was doing, like
Hmm.
so. Yeah, so I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Our pets have constantly been jumping off to their deaths and then
Yeah.
coming back. Yeah. What is there any, I mean, I think we've passed the hour mark, so do you think there's any conclusionary stuff you can say?
Uh, I feel like um I did not anticipate how harsh life can become.
Hmm.
Like even though I see everything around me, right,
Mm-hmm.
being harsh, but I feel like I'm also detached with everything. Like I knew all of these things are happening. I knew everything is like for a lot of people, life is rough. Like for your pet who
Yeah.
just died again. But I knew
Yeah.
like life can be rough for people. But like if it doesn't happen to you, you you you're not aware about uh their situation. But I feel like recently I've I've become more in tune with the realities of life, and I feel like that's what is catching up finally to me, that it is going to take a lot of effort from my end to live a more fulfilling life, and
Mm-hmm.
uh it's not going to happen on its own. Like I've been waiting for something to happen,
Yeah.
but I've realized that that's not how life is going to work out.
That
So
is,
if
yeah.
I was to conclude this podcast with something, I would be like, I would say that it's a goal for me that by the time we do the next podcast,
Mm-hmm.
I am most certain about what I want to get done in my life, what I want to do in my life. Right now, I've been till now, till my life, till the age of 28,
Mm-hmm.
I had no purpose, but now I'm finally looking for one.
That is
Oh,
so good.
it's something that I wanted to actually talk about. We never really talked about my philosophies, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can talk
But yeah,
about
I
it.
mean, very shortly, I mean, obviously, in more of our podcast, we'll keep talking about all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no structure to it.
Yeah.
But I am a nihilist, right?
Yeah.
But eventually, I became a very optimistic nihilist,
Yeah.
and I just want to become more. I want to be more optimistic, and I still I'm going to be nihilist, but I want to be more optimistic about it.
Ah.
Yeah. So
Fair.
yeah, that's what it is.
No,
To find
I
a
loved the
purpose.
hearing that. Yeah,
Yeah.
finding a purpose. I think that was something I was struggling with like a year ago or something, but now my general purpose is so vague that it leaves a room to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I don't mind doing that. I just what I am trying to figure out is just how to do what I love doing better. Like there is so many of these self-help videos I watch, so many little things I do, or waking up in time, but they still don't feel enough. Like somewhere I want a key to like just fit the right socket, or not socket, the lock, and unlock something in me that just puts me in that state. But kind of like what you said, waiting for it would not do anything. Like I have to do something about it.
Yeah.
And I am afraid that I'll have to sacrifice a lot of things I enjoy for it, like, or at least cut short on things.
100%. Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm very pleasure driven.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
You are, and so am I.
yeah, and I need to stop doing that, because it really, hedonism is not the way I want to go.
Yeah.
I think it, I mean, some people may want to live like that and go for it, but for me, it feels very hollow to live like that. It's very short-lived joy or short-lived pleasure. It doesn't bring satisfaction. Like when I work hard one day, the sleep I get after that is what I want for like most of my life. That sleep, that fulfilling sleep that I worked hard today.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to try and work on.
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully by next podcast that would also be something I can
hopefully
talk about better. Well, this was fun. No clue what third episode we'll probably be playing another game and talking about something else entirely.
I think I know what I want to talk about in the next episode, but that's
fine. Yeah, and hopefully like we can certainly pump up the podcast videos a little quicker than like 9 months.
Yeah. Hopefully we do it in the next month.
Yeah, like even doing it a month,
every
month would be cool or something.
Yeah.
But we are genuinely just doing this because we want to talk about stuff and have it stay on the internet.
Oh, this is our monthly therapy session, basically.
Yeah, but also like I like having a mark on the internet, and this feels like that a bit,
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, and that's good enough for me.
Come, let's ride into the sunset or whatever.
Oh, I was just gonna end it while sitting in the ship, but yeah, sure. Yeah, we've not even really talked about this podcast much with our friends, right? We just do it because it's just there. Like if they come across it, we don't mind it, but
us, yeah,
we're not necessarily marketing it.
No. Yeah. So any like, share and subscribe, guys.
Yes, obligatory like, share, subscribe.
Very helpful. Not really. At the end of the day, it is something that we are doing for us, and if you get anything from it,
we would love to know.
We would, love to know.
Yeah, like any comments you would have on like any introspection on the stuff we say. In the end of the day, it's a public video. So discussion is.
We like to have talk about this stuff with more people.
Yeah, we might bring in guests at some point. Who knows, right?
At some point, yeah. Guests would have no idea that this is a thing right now.
Yeah.
But yeah. Until next time.
Yep. Bye bye.
Keep living that painful life. Bye bye.
Yes, and hopefully it gets a little less painful every day.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.